What is going on, everybody? Today we're looking at more of the NECA Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mirage comic figures. So first up we have Karai dressed as Shredder. Of course I'll go into more story of why she's dressed as Shredder, but cool to get Karai for the Mirage comics, and she's wearing the red and stuff, so she'll go good with our other foot characters that we've gotten more recently. And then we also have Rat King and his like nice demented design there. It looks pretty crazy. It comes with a bunch of rats, of course, so he looks awesome. And then we also have the Triceraton Gladiator from that storyline where the turtles met the Triceratons on their like little planet. So cool to have the Gladiator, and he comes with all sorts of weapons very similar to what they use in the comics in the Gladiator arena. So these three figures look pretty cool, and I'm excited to check them out. So let me get them open out of the box and we'll take a look at them together. So starting off with Karai, she came from Japan to New York to unify the warring factions of the Foot Clan following the death of Shredder. So she makes a deal with the Turtles to help her stop the Foot, and if they do, there will be a peace treaty between the clans. So they fight to the top of a skyscraper where they find the body of Karai's daughter. So Leonardo swears they will kill all of the Foot elites that caused this. So Karai puts on Shredder's armor and leads a group of loyal Foot soldiers into battle against the elites, and the fight ends with only the Turtles and Karai left alive, and she returns to Japan. So it's cool we have her here getting a Mirage comic version of Karai. Of course, we got the Last Ronin version, which I thought like body-wise stuff looked decent, but the face looked all weird, where this one actually looks pretty decent. So it's just a nice, it's got the female body, so thinner body and joints and everything, so that could cause some issues, but overall looks pretty nice and looks, wearing the Shredder armor, at least some of it. So she's got his shoulder pads, his gauntlets with the spikes and the claws on his hands, and then shin guards as well with the spikes, and then just the all red outfit that they sort of wear, of course similar to the foot soldiers we've been getting, and I assume we'll hopefully eventually get a Shredder in very similar design. But then she's got the bare arms, and then of course we can see her face there of Cry, so it looks pretty angry with that face she has on there, and of course gritted her teeth, and she has like the short, I want to say like bobbed haircut there with the black hair. I love how that's so like sort of windblown and stuff, so the hair is not just all flat, it has some details to it going on, and overall just looks pretty nice for the figure itself. Just a nice figure to add into the collection to lead our Foot Clan till we get actual Shredder. But moon-wise, we do get that they'll twist all the way around. It'll look down that far and up that far. It's not too bad, just won't go further because the hair in the back. Then we get the shoulders that do come up pretty close to 90. It's always the NECA figure, so it's hard to get really any higher than that. And it should be able to rotate around, but we've had a lot of issues with this. We even heated it up, and it's still pretty stiff. Like, it will move. It's not like it's like stuck or anything. It's just real stiff with the joint design in there, so hard to rotate around. But then we get the bicep twist and the double elbow joint that will bend up that far, which isn't bad at all. Wrist will twist around and hinge back and forth. Of course, real stiff with these, but will hinge back and forth there. Then we can go to the ab crunch. So we get the upper ab crunch just under her chest. So crunch back and forth and twist around. And then at the waist, we can crunch very little, not much at all, but twist around there as well. Then we go down to the hips, that'll come up to 90. Out to the side, she can do the split, have a thigh, little bit of a thigh twist up in there as well, so twist back and forth. Then the double knee joint, that'll bend up that far to the back, which isn't too bad, could be better, but not bad. Then we go down to the foot, that'll rock back and forth and twist side to side. And as you see, she does have like the tabby shoe design, I forgot to point out. So overall works decent. Like I said, it's just the NECA, so obviously the joints aren't perfect or anything, and could have a little bit better range, but for what she's got, it's not bad at all. But as usual, we get a number of accessories. So we get some additional hands. So we get some like flat palm hands. So just the hands open there. Of course, still has the claws on them, as well as a set of grip hands, which we'll probably need to give her some of her weapons. So we'll switch that out. And I did notice with these grip hands that she does have up and down hinges, so nice for weapon holding. And then we get an additional head, but first we get the mask of Shredder. So just the empty helmet, which looks pretty nice. So just the Shredder helmet design there looks pretty cool. But then we also get the same, but for her wearing it, so you can actually put it on her like she's wearing his helmet. So let's do that. So there we have that. So now it looks like Shredder, just with a female body, which looks pretty decent overall as well. So I'll probably leave that helmet on just because I like that look. Then it comes with a number of accessories. So first we get a katana, so just a nice katana, or just sword, whatever you want to call it. So it looks pretty nice with that design. Of course, has the Mirage comic like lining and everything on it, so that's nice. We also get a pair of, I didn't know what to call them exactly, so I just said butterfly swords, but like short swords that have like the hand protectors on them with the spikes, so that's pretty cool. So we had double of those that we could give to her, as well as a naginata, so the nice spear with the blade on the end of it, that looks cool. So, and has little ties at the end of all that, so it looks pretty awesome. I'm not sure what I want to give her. I may go ahead and just do the two short swords because I think it'd be cool to give her two weapons there, so I may put these in her hands. So there's Karai with those two swords. Looks pretty decent to her dressed up as Shredder and with those swords, so that looks really nice. And then for each character, I will go ahead and just bring in this Mirage turtles that we have just so you can see the height comparison to them. So it looks pretty nice that she is taller than the turtles. Of course, I do have her crouched a little as well, so that's pretty nice just to show how small the turtles are as they should be compared to our other characters. So overall, this Karai looks nice. Again, nice to add another character for the Foot Clan onto our shelf. Of course, now just waiting though for actual Shredder, but she'll make do for now because she looks awesome. And next up, we have the Rat King, which looks pretty deranged here. Now, he moved from a swamp to the abandoned industrial park to shelter from the winter. And while there, he sees the turtles and Casey Jones training, and he believes that they are monsters. So he ends up capturing Michelangelo and ties him up to be eaten alive by rats. But Mikey's able to escape, and this leads to a duel between the Rat King and Leonardo, where the Rat King ends up getting impaled by several shuriken by Leonardo and falls down a silo shaft. So unfortunately, he doesn't last very long in the comics, it seems like, from the story, but he does come back as flashbacks. Like, there's a whole thing where, like, his ghost or something is sort of haunting Splinter and forces Splinter to eat a rat and everything. So pretty dark and crazy storyline, but that's kind of how the Mirage comics are. But he just comes back as, like, ghost forms and stuff, but looks pretty decent here. But like I said, crazy and deranged at the same time, especially with that face he's got on. But he has this full body covering that's green, but you can see it's all stitched together and stuff. I love the different shades. So we get lighter green and some, like, darker, paler green. So I love how you see that sort of contrast there. But like I said, also got the holes in it and then all sorts of stitched up, so you can see it's all stitched around there. But then it has the yellow around it as well, so we have the yellow completely all the way around his face there. It looks like he's maybe got some hair missing or something, because it looks like part of his skin. It's hard to really tell what's going on exactly there, but with some of his, like, brownish hair sort of sticking out as well. His crazy face, so his face that you see, like, around his eyes is all, like, black and stuff, could just be dirt, or if he's got paint on, not sure what's going on. But then all the yellow wrappings like a mummy around it there, and just get some of the wrappings hanging off him around his neck, get some around his waist, on his arms, some extra little bands sort of all around him, around his hands, on his legs. So we get these bands that of course do fall and everything and are quite annoying, but you can sort of position them in different spots on his legs all the way down to the bottom here to his feet, where I like how his feet are even covered, so it reminds me like he's got like a onesie on, so he's got like the footy pajamas and everything, which is kind of funny. But just like I said, nice creepy looking character here that looks awesome for this version of Rat King. But we can do his movement, so his head will twist around, so it'll twist all the way around there. He looked down that far and up that far, so just a little bit of movement, not much at all, unfortunately. But the shoulders come up that far, pretty close to 90, not all the way, but almost to it, and we'll rotate around. We get the bicep twist and the double elbow joint. Of course, the top, though, has barely any of a joint, but there is a joint in the top and bottom, so it makes it double there. That'll bend up that far at least, with the wrist that'll twist around and hinge back and forth. Then we go to his ab crunch. You can see that cut out there, so crunch back and forth and twist all the way around. And then he'll also twist around at the waist, so he has the complete separation there that he can twist around. The hips will come up pretty much to 90 and out to the side, very close to doing the splits. He has a thigh twist in there and the double knee joint that'll bend up that far to the back. And as you see, the bands are falling down, so that's annoying. So not bad at all for that bend either. Then we go down to the foot that'll flex back and forth, a little stiff, but can flex back and forth and twist side to side. So not bad at all. It's got pretty decent movements, like a little bit seems like different joints than what we're somewhat used to, but of course with it being a human, probably different for that, but works out decently overall. Like I said, just the only thing to me is these bands just keep falling down and it's quite annoying. But accessory-wise, we do get an additional head. So we have this head. I'm not sure exactly what he looks like more in the comics, like which one would be more accurate, but we do have this head that we can switch out. So there he's got that head that looks at least a little more human to him. So maybe that could be like our normal human version. And then with part of the story I told you about, we could use that other head. But there he's just got that head on. He comes with a number of hands. So it looks like he's got 2 fist hands on already. So it comes with another set of fist hands. I'm not sure what's the difference. I can't really see anything difference between the two, except for this one has his thumbs inside his fingers. So he's got his fingers wrapped around his thumb there, where the thumb's on the outside on that one. So that's that real small difference. I don't know why it needed that, but we have that. Then we also get a set of grip hands, so just like standard grips there, and then a larger grip hand as well, so it has a much wider grip, and you can see like his fingernails seem to be more sharper at that point. And then what's really cool, and again part of the story, and we could use that other head for it, is that he starts to turn to a rat in that vision. So we get rat hands as well, so we get these creepy looking hands with long fingernails, all the little bumps and everything all over it. So he's starting to turn into a rat, a part of that vision with Splinter. So you could do that as well, like I said, maybe with that other head where he looks much more crazy. Those would work good together. For weapons, he comes with a bat or just the stick, so we can put this in his hands. Of course, we'll have to switch to a grip hand. So there's the Rat King holding that stick. And then he comes with some rats as well that we can put on. I assume there's some designs where we can have it like he's just sitting there with this one. This one we can probably wrap around like his arms or something. Ooh, that one's weird. It's got its tongue sticking out. Not sure if it's dead or anything. Maybe we could put it on the stick. So yeah, not sure if it goes there, but it will fit around on that stick, so you could have it. So maybe he's unfortunately hit the rats. So even though he's the Rat King and should be with the rats, he's hit it and killed it or something. And like put this one up on his shoulder. It looks like it's running away, so it'd probably make more sense for it to be on the ground. But we just have that design, and of course, like I said, this one's just sitting there, so he'll be sitting at his feet or something. So that looks pretty cool and crazy for the Rat King as well. Like I said, hard to really tell what we want to do. He comes with all the the different heads and hands and stuff. Not sure exactly what we want to do with him there, but he does look really cool. Love this design for Rat King. And then of course here is our Leonardo once again, so you can see the size difference, so just how big Rat King is compared to our turtles. So it looks pretty awesome there. So this Rat King is such an awesome looking figure. And finally, we have our Triceraton Gladiator, which is a part of the Triceraton All-Star team of 4 gladiators led by Monza Ram, and they face against the turtles in the Triceraton Tri-Sports Arena, but the entire team ends up being killed in the duel. So unfortunately, they don't survive very long against the turtles, but looks pretty nice here for just this Triceraton. Of course, we've had Zog in the past, so I'll bring him in and show you, of course, much different size to comparison. But of course, the alien species that looks like Triceratopses, but with this all orange skin that looks pretty nice. It's nice ridge and stuff, so it has like that reptile like skin like a Triceratops would. And the Triceratops head, so we get the big fan on the top of its head, and it's 3 horns, so 2 on top of its head, 1 there right at its nose. Nice red eyes, a mouth there that can open and close with all those teeth, a little like sort of pointy spike there in the front as well. Looks pretty nice. And then he's just this all jacked up ripped body, so he's got abs, of course, nice pecs, all sorts of muscles in his arms and legs. And then we go down to his feet, which get pretty funny. How the big fat feet, of course, the stubby legs with the little toes like Triceratops have as well, so pretty nice. So just funny how big the legs are compared to the rest of the body, and a tail hanging off the back as well. And they all wear these like silver underwear designs in the battle arena, so he's got that as well, which looks nice. Of course, barely clothed, but looks like he does in the comics. But for movements, we do get that'll twist all the way around, and it can look down that far and up that far. So relatively decent movements for that, better than I'd expect. And as I already showed there, the mouth does open and close, so you can have that going on there. Then we go to the shoulders up to 90. That'll rotate all the way around. We get a bicep twist, not much of one because of the muscles, but it does twist there. And the double elbow joint, that'll bend up that far at least, so just about to 90. Then the wrist will twist all the way around and hinge back and forth. Of course, the joint's deep down in there, so not the best arranged, but it does have the hinge back and forth there at least. Oh, and he does have the shading, as you see. So like on the sides and stuff has the dark shading there. Then we go to the ab crunch, so he'll crunch back and forth. Again, this upper one, yeah, was stuck by there. He can crunch back and forth and twist around, and should at the waist, yeah, be able to twist all the way around as well. Then we can go down to the hips. That'll come up. Not sure if they'll go any farther than that, about 45 there. And out to the side. Can't do the splits, unfortunately. But he does have thigh twist up in there, so pretty good range. And again, more of that cell shading on the inner thighs. Then we go down to the double knee joint. That'll go that far to the back, which isn't bad at all. And then we get the foot with that big joint there that'll rock back and forth and can twist side to side. Of course, ending off with the tail, so the tail can move up and down, twist around, and it does have the flexibility, so you can see it go angled there. But again, just looks like a big carrot hanging off the back. So I am surprised how good this moves. Of course, with the big buff body, like I said, you don't get as much range, especially like the biceps, because there's too much muscle. But he works out everywhere else pretty decently, and I just like the design. Like I said, big ripped muscle guy, but then has the really fat legs is kind of funny to me, but looks nice overall for the design and all that. I wish he had more clothes on, because I like the way Zog looks, so it'd be cool if they wore something similar to that. But just for being in the Gladiator arena, this is what they wear, so it makes sense. Now, accessory wise, he comes with some additional hands, so we get some flat like palm hands, so if you want to have those just for generically holding something. We get some grip hands, so we get some grips that have the standard back and forth hinges, as well as grip hands with the up and down hinges, so we can pick and choose whatever we want there. And speaking of hands, unfortunately for us on the left side, the hand is barely in there. Like, it does stick them in there. As you see, I still had to pull quite a bit, but it's just very loose loose in there and flops around. But I think if we switch to another hand, let's just put a grip hand on, it seems to be a little better. It's still loose, like twists around pretty easily, so the joint seems to be messed up in there. Like the hole that the peg goes into is probably a little too big or something, but it does seem a little bit tighter. But yeah, just a little bit of issues. We can still pose up with it. It's still gonna be able to hold stuff. It's just pretty loose, so that's like the biggest downside of that. But then we get a number of weapons. So first we get 2 short swords, so again very similar to what Karai had, but of course for Triceraton's much bigger in size, and saws like the knuckle guard with the spikes on it and all that look pretty cool for that. Then we also get a Kusarigama, so we get the scythe weapon at the one end on a chain with usually a weighted, but it's got a big triangle shape at the other end, again like the cell shading designs on that as well. So we have that big weapon. We get the tri-staff, so the staff broken into 3 with the chain between, so it's almost like a big pair of nunchucks. So we have that we can pose with. And then for our last weapon, not sure if this is what it is, but in the comics they use a Lajatang, which is just a stick with like spears on each end, but they're almost like crescent moon sort of shapes. But this time we just get a big spear, so it has a big spear point on one end, and then almost like a big spear, but it's like almost like a big rock or something attached to the bottom, but it's, you know, got that spear pointed to it as well. So just this big stick, which is pretty cool with the spikes on it. Now, I'm not sure exactly what I want to give him. I don't know what we work westwise, because I either want that spear or maybe we'll try the tri-staff. So let's see which one I can get to look better. So there I got the 3-section staff in his hand. Unfortunately, that loose hand is coming into play, like it just keeps flopping there, so I may have to give him a different weapon. But there I just tried to pose him up because that's what I did see them pictured with from the comics. So I just tried to pose up, but again, I don't know how you'd really hold this in his hand. I don't really know how they hold it or anything, but there we can just do that, which I think looks pretty cool. Now, of course, like I said, we can bring in Zog since it is another Triceraton that we have. So there you can see just how big Zog is even compared to the Gladiators. He's just huge, and love that, of course, design where he's more all beat up and everything, but looks cool compared to our Gladiator. And then we can bring in our turtle. So again, the size comparison wise, just how big the Triceratons are compared to the turtles is crazy, and crazy that the turtles actually beat them in the Gladiator arena, but still looks pretty crazy and cool. Like I said, probably just have to give him a different weapon, unfortunately, but still looks cool. And of course, you can army build this. I think, like I said, there were 4 total, with one of like the leaders being named specifically, but looks pretty cool overall. Just, you know, a Triceraton in underwear is all it really is, but it comes with cool weapons and all that. So very cool figure. Well, that is it for our 3 new NECA Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mirage comic figures, where we got Karai as Shredder, Rat King, and the Triceraton Gladiator. All 3 are really cool. Like I said, like the Karai, just to be able to add her to be the leader of our Foot Clan until we actually get Shredder in this design. This Rat King looks really cool. Definitely like the coolest version of Rat King I've ever seen, but of course dark and grim for that as well. And the Triceraton looks cool. Like I said, I like Zog more, but still Triceratons are cool alien species from the turtles I like, so getting another one in the collection is really cool. So let me know what you thought of these 3 figures down in the comments, and if you enjoyed my review, let me know what that like, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button to see more. But I want to thank you all for watching. I hope you all stay awesome out there, and I'll see you in our next review.